Okay, so hey everybody. My name is Demetrius Jeffrey, and this is, as you can see, my criminal justice portfolio. Because I'm a criminal justice major, so I'll just be showing you all just different parts and like just going into details about it. Okay, so so just some information about my statement of goals. As you can see up top, right here. Short-term goals. My short-term goals are just to basically continue to work in all of my classes. Just work hard in all of my classes, excuse me, and get good grades. So that would basically lead me to graduate with my bachelor's degree in criminal justice and enter the field of study soon after graduation in 2020. Okay, so long term, uh, since I want to become a GBS agent, working, so that's basically Georgia Bureau of Investigation. I want to be able to work myself up the rankings because I know that there's a possibility that I could not potentially enter the field of criminal justice after graduation as a GBI agent or GBI special agent right off the bat. Therefore, I want to and is willing to start from the very bottom and work my way up to top, earning the spot with putting in the work and having a positive attitude. So these are just my statement of goals. So to continue, next slide. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see how to go back. Okay. Okay, so my development plan. So although all of my goals are very achievable and they do have great meaning, there are many things that I know I need to do to be able to accomplish my desired goals, such as looking into internships, because I do need to start doing that. Reaching out to more people to gain some information, and just to build on having personal relationships with them, so that I can, I don't want to just build up my resume, but I want to be able to count on these people, for references, and they can just become like great mentors and etc. So yeah, this is just my development plan. Okay, next slide. Work sample descriptions. Okay, so in Access, what I did, I display information on how different detectives, how they patrol or would patrol different zones and or areas in the Atlanta area and other areas in Georgia, while also showing the years of experience that they have to show, um, how skilled they are with their jobs in the same process. Um, so some examples of zones and or areas that different detectives patrol. So it would be the AUC schools involving Clark, Morehouse, and Spelman, Stone Mountain, and Edgewood, etc. So basically, these zones, as you can see, like Stone Mountain, Edgewood, and the AUC with Clark, Morehouse, and Spelman. So these zones, they represent zones 1, 3, and 6. So the AUC would be zone 1, Stone Mountain would be zone 3, and Edgewood would be, I believe, yeah, zone 6. So in Excel, I displayed the different zones in Atlanta, zones 1 through 6, and how they showcase the number of crimes that are committed each month. For examples, zones 1, 4, 5, and 6 have the highest number of crimes because those are the dangerous in hot areas where crime take place the most, while zones 2 and 3 have the lowest number of crimes because those are the areas that are really quiet and do not bring too much attention for crime to constantly take place. So basically, zones 1 through 6, I just want to just put this just kind of, just to show you that just the different zones, so like the different areas of Atlanta, what they represent. So zone 1, West Atlanta. Zone 2, North Atlanta. Zone 3, Southeast Atlanta. Zone 4, Southwest Atlanta. Zone 5, Downtown Atlanta. And Zone 6, East Atlanta. Okay, and current trends, so titles and brief summary. So basically, the information that you see here, these are kind of like just the same thing that was on that I did with the current trends project. So I did like three. Like this is trend number one, police body cameras. Trend number two would be drones and law, and trend number three would be police using 3D printers. So that's just the titles and trend numbers and the authors and the URL and just basically the summary talking about how they what helped the field of criminal justice evolve with technology in the near future. Okay, next slide. So research title. For my research title, I just decided to call it "Police Body Cameras Becoming a Part of the Criminal Justice Reform." So, as you can see on the previous slide, police body cameras was my first trend, so I just chose to go with that trend to just talk about throughout the rest of the slides. So, on the next slide and slides after, specifically 8 through 14, I'll be highlighting the importance of this specific trend and how it is playing a role in helping reshape the criminal justice system for the better. Okay. And okay, here we go. So research overview / table of contents. So for my research overview, the purpose is to inform about police body cameras and how they play a major role in the field of criminal justice. In other words, to show how police body cameras can and or contribute within the field with showing a possible better relationship between being established between citizens and police officers. Table of contents. Um, I don't have too much on the table of contents, but basically the major points I wanted to get talk about in the table of contents, or I will be talking about, is the development of police body cameras and what will or can come from the development of the police body cameras. Okay, next slide. Okay, here we go. So research content. Okay, so police body cameras define expectations. Okay, so just to kind of just break it down, really with the development of police body cameras, how they really came about was that, as you can see, it was basically after Michael Brown was killed in Ferguson, Missouri in August of 2014 by a white officer. So that really struck the community. So basically, the people in the community, they called for officers to start wearing police body cameras so that officers could be held more accountable for their actions, because they felt like this was something that was just happening too constantly and nothing was being done about it. So by 2015, 95% of large police departments reported that they were using body cameras or had committed and made it a main priority to doing so in the near future. And so, like, these are just some of the names of black men and women that fell victim. Tamir Rice, 12-year-old boy that got killed, I believe in Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. I'm not sure if Cleveland is the right area, but I know it was Ohio for playing with a toy gun. He was only 12. He got killed in the park. Sandra Bland, killed in Texas. Well, she was pulled over. Eric Garner, he was choked out by police officers. Basically just mind his own business up in New York. I believe that was the summer of 2014. Walter Scott, he was killed in South Carolina. Laquan McDonald, he was killed in Chicago, shot, I believe, 16 times in the back, and etc. So as shown above, these are more examples. Yeah, basically, just African American men and women that were killed and fell victim to police brutality. So after all of the tragic deaths of these black men and women done by the police, you can just say that it's fair to say that law enforcement, they really do need to take better accountability and just be responsible for their actions, because they are getting off with just going around murdering constantly. They're just getting off with it without any repercussions or consequences. Okay, so police body cameras define expectations continued. So so by the police body cameras increasing, police departments can be evaluated and trained for future situations that does not involve and take another black man or black woman life out of fear. Footage can be collected and evaluated so that constructive criticism can be given back to the police officers on the areas that they can improve on and what they are doing a good job on. So to elaborate, when they basically collect the footage and look at it, they can kind of tell which route they want to go and just tell in different ways to increase improvement. So they can do things like figuring out different ways how to reduce violent encounters, diffusing the situation or situations. They can record and show behavior patterns between the officer and the civilian. They can determine how and why a series of events took place, etc. Okay. So continue. Better forms of communication and trust can be established between the people in different communities, specifically black people and police officers. Also, citizens feel more safe when approached by officers wearing the body cameras because it will show the behavior pattern between the two and determine if the actions of the officer are good or bad. So just to kind of, it would the footage would be able to pick up and tell if the officer is actually doing their job or they're trying to do any dirty, underhanded things. So by this, there could be a strong possibility of crime decreasing, maybe even another possibility that includes citizens looking at police officers in a good way instead of always thinking that all officers are bad and have evil and malicious intentions. Okay, so the Minneapolis Police Department announcing more police body cameras to be worn by officers. So in Minneapolis, more police body cameras have been announced in order for officers to wear them. So if the officers refuse to wear these body cameras, they could face disciplinary consequences such as suspension, termination. They could even be stripped of their badge and everything like that, and just so on. So the call for this immediate action to be set into action is the result of the killing of Justine. I can't read the middle name, so you have to forgive me. I'll just say Justine Damon. It sounds like Diamond, but Damon. Miss Damon. So she was shot by Officer Mohammed Noor after she killed. I apologize. After she called police. So she called the police to report a possible assault behind her home. So what happened after this was eventually Officer Mohammed Noor was fired by the department. After the prosecutors, they charged him with Miss Damon's death because he killed her. Neither Noor nor his partner Matthew Harity had cameras turned on during the encounter. So this would This is prompting the calls for a stricter policy. So a few days after the shooting, Arradondo, then the acting chief, he ordered officers to use the devices in nearly all public encounters from traffic stops to 911 calls with few exceptions. Officials have said that officers have been prematurely and deliberately been turning off their cameras and mislabeling the recorders on purpose, creating the possibility that crucial evidence could be lost and they could protect their reputation of doing dirty work. So I think that this is very imperative for officers to be required to wear their body cameras more often because they get off the hook too easily for the deaths of innocent people, and it is time for them to be more held accountable for their despicable actions because it really doesn't make any sense when you look at it. Okay, so facial recognition being added into police body cameras. Okay, so acts in the make of taser, electroshock weapons, and the wearable police cameras now used by major American city police departments have voiced interest in pursuing face recognition for its body-worn cameras. The technology could allow officers to scan and recognize the faces of potentially everyone they see while on patrol. So therefore, I think this would be a great idea because it would allow for officers to be held more accountable and to be able to pick up on a specific suspect that they are looking for, trying to arrest. Okay. So continue. In addition, facial recognition can be used as a way to identify the right person that officers are looking for because sometimes they can get a mix up and confuse the wrong person for a crime that they did not commit. Eventually, this type of thing leads to an innocent person having to wrongly confess to something that they did not do because of a mix up of details, such as statements from different people that can cause that person to do time. Conclusion. So, what I can take of this is that just to kind of sum up these points. So, with police body cameras as they continue to increasingly used, officers can no longer just come up with just random excuses about how they did it out of fear or he or she had a gun and they had to defend themselves. So and then when they get asked the question like what made you kill that black man and black woman, you know, they just respond with the typical response, like it says, I did it out of fear, he or she had a gun, et cetera, et cetera. So overall, I just think that it's a great idea because police officers, they need to be required to wear these body cameras because we as citizens, we need to feel safe and we get tired of just walking down the street in fear and have to worry about getting killed like a Trayvon Martin or minding their own business on the street corner and being choked out like an Eric Gardner. Or you have kids in the playground playing with a toy gun and being killed at 12 like a Tamir Rice, etc. And what I mean by we as citizens, um, I was specifically trying to break it down as black people, black men and women, because we are the ones that are constantly targeted by the police and killed. And we have to see our fellow brothers and sisters' lifeless bodies on the news behind the yellow tape on the ground. So that's my conclusion, and these are my references. Okay. And that does it for the PowerPoint. And just to kind of go through it, for the current trends project, these are the trends I did. But I used the current trend, my first trend, police body cameras. The author was Amanda Ripley. I'm not gonna just go into all of that. And this was the first assignment that we did, introductory video and essay assignment. This is where I got my statement of goals and development plan from. And this is my short access work sample description. So I'll just kind of read it to you. With my access work sample, I display information of how different detectives patrol different zones of areas in Atlanta and all of that. Uh, like I already said in the PowerPoint, zones 1, 3, and 6 represent the AUC Stone Mountain and Edgewood. And I kind of made up the rest of the zones, 7 through 15. Kind of put different places like Conyers, McDonough, Decatur, Savannah, Covington, Griffin, and etc. And just to kind of show you that, here it goes. So like you have God's table, you have like the first name, last name, the phone number, the address on which they patrol, the city and the state, and the zip code and like the years of experience. And you have the trips, and you have like the street names, like I said, that'll be in patrol in the city and the state, and like just the distances and all of that, and the queries, the guide, just the update form. You have all of this, and you have the guide contact numbers. This is just a personal information, and just the report. Okay, and with the Excel work sample description, so I did this based off my major of criminal justice. So since I want to become a GBI special agent, so special agents they do quite a bit of things like they as investigate criminal activities, they conduct crimes, scene searches, they interview and interrogate persons in connection with criminal cases being investigated. They testify in court. They just do a bunch of whole other things. I'm just trying to, just sum it up. So with my full display of my work sample, it shows the different zones in Atlanta, showcasing the numbers of crimes that are committed each month. So these crimes could range from anywhere from robbery up to murder. However, since the numbers are a little bit lower, they could most likely be dealing with robbery, some murder, sexual assault, rape, vandalism, etc. The numbers could depict that the crimes are extremely outrageous because of the environments and the minor to little major crimes taking place. With the numbers, they show that zones 4 through 6 are more full of crimes and are the main areas where crime take place and will constantly take place because they are dangerous and hot areas. While zones 1 through 3, they're full with less crimes because they're more quiet and they don't cause too many distractions. So the max of the numbers, they show the maximum of crimes overall throughout the months in each zone, while the minimum of numbers, they show the minimum of crimes overall throughout the months in each zone. So therefore the numbers are displayed from the maximum numbers of crimes that have taken place to the minimum numbers of crimes that have taken place. So as you can see below, there is a well-detailed description of a picture that shows the different zones in Atlanta, specifically like West Atlanta, Southwest, and all of that. So I just scroll down, and this is just like a picture I had added. So the patrol zone, zone 1 through 6, in this little area. You have all these different zones, these areas right here that I highlighted. And this is basically my Excel work sample of it. So up here, you have the different zones in Atlanta, crimes each month. You have like the different months, January, February, March, April, May, the total and the average. Zones 1 through 6, so like the totals, the average. And I think this is like a little pie chart I did, like 3D pie chart, just to kind of be more detailed and kind of just show like the overall numbers. So as you can kind of see, the numbers are very high within like zones 1, 4, 5, and 6. They're like high. They're very high. In zones 2 or 3, they have less numbers because they're just quiet. They don't cause too many distractions. Like so, those are like the nice areas. While zones 1, 4, 5, and 6, they're like more dangerous areas to have more crime because like they're very hot areas that crime constantly take place. And that would basically sum it up. And thank you so much for looking at this, just basically listening to me describe everything a part of my criminal justice portfolio. So thank you very much.